What if I told you that Capcom actually had made the perfect Resident Evil cooperative experience in the past, but was limited because of the hardware limitations of the PlayStation 2? This game in particular is Resident Evil Outbreak. Capcom does have the formula to make the greatest Resident Evil experience of all time, but nowadays it seems like they don't want to put any more effort into their multiplayer games for reasons I don't know why.
Seriously, what the f are you doing?
So if you guys are unaware, Capcom is actually shutting down Resident Evil Reverse in the coming months.
No! Don't go!
Specifically June 25th, 2025. So what exactly does this mean? So once they cut this cord completely, you are no longer to play online with friends, online with other randoms. You aren't going to be able to purchase items in the store. If you are planning on buying DLCs for this game, I recommend you not to, because you are not going to be able to use it after June 25th, 2025. So what exactly is Resident Evil Reverse? Well, just think of Call of Duty Free-for-All, but with a lot less content inside of it. So you pick a character, and there's only about 3 maps, by the way. You pick a character, you spawn in the map, you shoot players, and if you do die, you end up becoming a BOW, depending on how many vials you do collect when you're human. So depending on how many vials you do collect, you can become Nemesis and a couple of BOWs from the Remake engine games. The game already had its sorts of problems way before the launch. The game was in beta form, and let me tell you, when that beta came out, absolutely nobody liked it. So then Capcom ended up delaying the game, and we were very hopeful. We were very hopeful that the game would actually be good this time. So fast forward after the release of Resident Evil Village. Village came out, Shadows of Rose came out, Reverse finally came out. And man, this game was just, it was bad. It was completely bad. The game felt it was already abandoned. You can tell they actually put no effort into making the game a lot better than the beta form. I feel like the best thing about this game is the fact that you can play as a BOW. That is it. That's where the compliments literally ends. Weapons are very dependent on the characters you choose as well. So let's say if you like the crossbow, but you hate Ada Wong's character, well, it sucks to be you, because you are forced to play Ada Wong because the crossbow is kind of tied to her character completely, so it sucks to be you. I wanted to make this video because I am getting extremely tired of Capcom just coming out with these multiplayer games and put absolutely no, I don't want to say effort to them, but the longevity of these games just seem really short. If you do look at the history of their multiplayer titles, it's like they give them support for 2 or 3 months and then just abandon them completely. They did the same thing with Resident Evil Resistance. We've done the same thing with Resident Evil Reverse, and I would not be surprised if Exo Primal would actually be the next game to get cut, because that game is currently still going through the same 4 seasons, just being recycled over and over again, which is pretty upsetting and sad, because I really do want a good Capcom multiplayer game, especially when it comes to Resident Evil Outbreak out there. And I have a feeling I know why they're not bringing out the best multiplayer game out now, and I think it has to do with the fact that I really do think the games are going to be remade at first. And then once they kind of lose ideas when it comes to remaking games, that's when they're going to press the red button and actually going to come out with a Resident Evil Outbreak remastered, or a remake, I should say. So then we can get monetized and they'll just keep making new seasons, and that's how they're going to make their money. I feel like that's the scenario they're most likely looking for, or at least a whole multiplayer Resident Evil title in the future. Doesn't necessarily have to be Outbreak, but I feel like this is the case. I always thought that Code Veronica would be the red button, kind of like how Resident Evil 2 Remake was, but I don't think so. I really do think the OG collection and also a huge multiplayer Resident Evil project is probably on their bingo card when it comes to them losing profits of some sort. That could very be the case. I'm not saying this is 100% true, but that could be an honest reason of why Capcom isn't necessarily giving us anything right now. Do I think it's right? Absolutely not, because I do love Resident Evil Outbreak. If you guys have not played that game, please play it. There is a mod out right now for Resident Evil Outbreak. If you do have a PC, you're able to play it, and trust me, I have played it for the first time a few months ago, and it's probably one of the best experience I have ever had with Resident Evil in general. I do feel like it's the better experience when it comes to Resident Evil in general. Yes, even better than Resident Evil 5 and 6. A lot of people won't know that because a lot of people didn't own a PS2 then. People were just probably too young to play Outbreak. I mean, hell, I wasn't too young, and I wasn't able to play Resident Evil Outbreak because the internet wasn't as prominent as it is today. So it's completely understandable. But I guarantee you, if you guys do like fixed camera angle games, and if you give Resident Evil Outbreak a chance, you will fall in love with that game. And this is a person who loves Resident Evil 5's co-op. But Reverse just inevitably failed. I kind of saw this coming. I think we all saw this coming. And it's a shame too, because I feel like if Capcom were to just sit down and kind of took their times into making these games, or at least build upon them, they would have probably been fantastic experiences, especially Resident Evil Resistance. But I just don't understand the mindset of just coming out with these empty multiplayer games and expect huge Fortnite success overnight. I don't understand that, because Fortnite themselves didn't even start that way. They actually started with Save the World and then became the battle royale that we know it today. If Capcom were to just do the same in that aspect, I feel like we can actually have a good successful Resident Evil multiplayer game. And I know a lot of people are just looking forward to the 30th anniversary, and guys, let me tell you, I wouldn't even think about the 30th anniversary because of what we got in the 20th and 25th. For the 20th, we got Umbrella Corps. The 25th, we got Reverse. And yeah, I could 100% be wrong. For the 30th anniversary, we probably will get something special. But just looking at everything and just looking at the history of Capcom titles, I don't think we're going to get anything great at the 30th anniversary. I just don't think it makes any type of sense to think we are getting something just knowing the history in anniversary titles that we got from the past. It could be different. Who knows? I could be completely wrong. But as of now, I really hope we get some multiplayer game that keeps us, you know, just engaged. I really want to play with the community. I feel like Resident Evil is the perfect universe to make a multiplayer game of. It is the perfect space to make a multiplayer game. Capcom, if you want any ideas, I got you. Just hit me up or something. I don't know, I'm just kidding. Just think about an open world setting where we have to loot random houses while the T-virus spreads around. It could be set in Raccoon City before the initial destruction, of course, where we have to loot. You know, we can go in a chest and find some RPD gloves that gives us like 10% more reload speed or something like that. We loot some other area and we find Wesker's glasses that'll make us immune to like flashbang effects or something like that. They can come up with so many ideas when it comes to a multiplayer space within this universe, especially when there are a lot of characters in this game, a lot of references, a lot of Easter eggs. For some reason, Capcom is just not doing anything with it, and it's pretty disappointing to see, because this is of course my favorite franchise of all time. Because honestly, for me personally, they are killing it when it comes to the single player stuff, because I'm loving all the remakes, I'm loving all the, you know, single player stuff. But hopefully we see something, because man, we are extremely disappointed when it comes to the multiplayer space, and it's not looking good, to be honest. I mean, Reverse is getting plugged, Resistance soon will join. If it's not already, I'm not sure if it is or not. Exo Primal is most likely going to go too, because again, it's recycling the same 4 seasons over and over again. So it's not looking good when it comes to these multiplayer games, and hopefully this isn't enough for Capcom to be like, yeah, let's not even bother to make a multiplayer game anymore, because it's not worth it. Which in my opinion, I feel like they kind of are just cheapening these games out a little too thin. And I feel like if they work on these projects more, if they build upon them, we can get good experiences. And that's just my honest opinion, but as of now, we haven't really got that. But that's all I pretty much have to say. If you enjoy the content, make sure to like the video, and if you are new to the channel, welcome, and be sure to subscribe. Most importantly, guys, I want to appreciate every single one of you guys for the support. Please be extremely safe out there, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next time, and until then, peace.